Hello friends, Mali Ponpadith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We are out in the global community interviewing 1,000 champions of change this year. That is our goal. And today we have this beautiful soul, Miss Veleda Spellman. Thank you so much for being a part of our global initiative.
Oh, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm very humbled.
Let's start by sharing with the audience who you are and the work that you do in the world.
Well, my name is Veleda Spellman. I am the CEO of Positive Queens, which is a women's empowerment group through Facebook that I built off of about like 200, a little over 200 women within my community. And I built that based off, I built a triumph from a tragedy, or what could have been a tragedy.
Can you share more about that and let us know deeper around the inspiration? What was it that was in your heart to do based on that personal journey, and how has it unfolded? What has it done for you to start this community and be drawing so many people, especially women from all over, to share their stories?
Well, the group basically cost me my life. I was in a tumultuous relationship, and I was in a relationship to where I invested myself into another person. In doing that, I lost myself, because when you're invested in another person, you're thinking about other people, and you're not really thinking about yourself. You're denying self. And when that person left my life, it was like I left with that person. So I didn't see my self-worth or my value. And because of that, I was at a low point in my life as to where I didn't even want to live anymore. So after that, I had spoken with some family. Whoa, dropping here. After that, I had spoken with some family, and after speaking with that family, they got me to see that, life was really worth living. And I attribute that to also being a spiritual person, and knowing that there's so much more to life than in someone else. They can only attribute to your happiness, but they can't complete your happiness. That is found within yourself. So I started Positive Queens based off of that. And with about 200 women from the community, I started, and it spiraled today in over 100,000 women. The group is therapy for me. I can get on and just speak to the ladies, and to have people that are waiting for you to come on live. And I want to hear what you have to say about a particular topic, and you've changed my life. That has been therapeutic for me.
One thing about being live is that you have things like technical difficulties. and we just run with it, because that is life. I mean, prior to this interview, we had some challenges, and you know what? I'm not even going to edit this. I think it's so perfect for the work that you're doing, to say that life throws us curveballs, including technology, including just hard times. And I think the most important thing for us is to realize that in the face of it, that's when we find ourselves, our humility, our strength. And so even as your phone was falling, I was kind of thinking in my mind, what a perfect person to have that happen to, because of what you've been through and what you're all about. So we're just going to keep it as is.
Yeah.
Ms. Veleda, one thing that I would like for you to explore with us is a chance to share with our audience a story or experience, perhaps experiences that have shown you some extra love and empathy and kindness, that's allowed you to kind of be in this space where your mind has shifted, where you're here to live and to serve now. Can you provide some insights around that?
Well, I was a caretaker for my parents for about the last 7 years, and I just recently lost my mom about 3 months ago. And in being the caretaker for them, I was just so engulfed in their everyday living and doing for them. And just providing what I needed, not only as a daughter, but as a confidant for them. And it was an honor for me because I learned so much from them, because as infants, our parents take care of us, and then to have to flip side that around, you never know what curveball of life is going to throw you. So I didn't know that the same things that my parents would do for me, I would have to do for them. And lately, latest with my mom, back almost to an infant stage with her having the dementia. But it was an honor to do that because they did that for me for all my life, for most of my life, basically. So that was a life changer for me. Uh, Being so used to take care of my kids and my parents. So now I'm at a focal point in my life where I have to focus on me. Like, you know, I look around and I say, I don't have anybody to attend to but myself. Something seems weird here, but I'm noticing that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at this space and time. So that has been something that has shifted me into the space to where I am now.
Well, first of all, thank you for being such a lover and a caretaker. It is hard. I've been there myself. It is hard and it's humbling, and it's the commendable is not the right word. It's just, thank you for being that kind of soul that would say, well, it's part of my life journey. I accept it, I honor it, and it's mine to do, which is very hard to get to that place. The other question that I have is, how do you manage 200,000 women who are there to share and to show up in a safe space? How do you manage that emotionally? How do you carry all of that? What's your process for knowing that it's a responsibility, but also allowing it and receiving it?
Well, I can say this. At the beginning, it was for me a very emotional roller coaster, because I would get so deep into the women's stories that I would find myself just sometimes feeling down, and I'm crying because of what they're going through. It was almost like I became like a sister to them. But in time, I realized that you have to control your emotions to a point to where you're not getting out of control with them, because you are there to help them and they are there to help you. And if they're leaning on you to be strength, you can't really, in a sense, be weak. If you're going to be weak, you kind of have to be weak to the side, because they really need you. And not only that, I attribute the other women in the group from coming in all sorts of directions to be healing and to be strength for those women. So it's more like we built a feminine community, a family with one another, to where they built relationships with themselves. And also have been a strength for me, with the death of my mother, with different things that I've gone through, that I can get on in confidence and speak with the women. And there'll be somebody, maybe 2:00 in the morning, if I want to get in and say, who's up, or such and such, is anybody going through something? Oh, I'm having insomnia, I can't sleep either. And we find ourselves laughing, keeping each other, going. So yeah.
Well, it's a great thing to have a global community, because when it's night here, it could be day elsewhere. So you always have
Yeah.
people who can tap into that. Well, Ms. Veleda, when you think of a community builder and a change agent, what attributes truly come to mind for you? What is the overarching theme that makes someone a community builder and a change agent?
Well, in today's world, I hear so much about women's empowerment. To me, women's empowerment is in action, being in our communities and doing things of service to and for others. That is indeed what makes me happy. When I think about being a change agent, I think about being real, being honest with myself, And I found out that the more real and honest I was with myself and to the people that I came in contact with, that was the best thing that I can do to change, because some women are sitting at home that maybe have been molested but would never talk about it, or maybe being domestically abused but would never have talked about it. But through me and being honest and being real with them and coming out about that, they were able to let loose something they have may have been holding in for maybe 20 years, that now finally they can release themselves. So to me, that's what being an agent of change is, being an agent of honesty and realness.
Fantastic. Beautiful answer. I love that. What causes do you care about? And we know just by the context of this conversation what that is, but are there other causes that really resonate with you? We can dive deeper into your cause, why you started this, and how are you utilizing your life lessons, your gifts, and your talents to pay that forward, to support your community even further?
Well, one of my biggest platforms would be suicide prevention and domestic violence. I was domestically abused for years, and I didn't have any self-worth. Um, and also with suicide prevention, letting other people know, whether it be male or female, that, you know, life is worth living, that every time you feel your pulse or your heartbeat, that is your moment to keep moving on. There's a purpose to everybody. And we have to realize that now, when I hear about different events going on that is supporting the causes that I am deeply involved with, I do my best to support it. And not only that, but also encourage the other women to support, because we have to be a support system to one another. And if we as women learn that we need to be more complimentive instead of competitive, oh, what a world it would be. Me complimenting you, for instance, on your beautiful makeup that you're wearing right now, is not taking anything away from me, but it is adding to me and also adding to you, because I don't know what, is underlying. I don't know how you're feeling or what may have taken place this morning, but a simple compliment could be the difference between you wanting to maybe commit suicide because you don't like how you look and people have been putting you down and this is your final day, or me giving you that compliment, say, you know what, hey, let me look out at life at a different perspective. Somebody else sees me as beautiful.
Well, we know you've had some tough times in life. If we're human, we will all go through very difficult, challenging times, some more extreme than others at different phases in life. Is there a motto? What have you learned through the depth of your journey? Is there a motto or a philosophy or quotes or passages that help you come back to center and move you forward?
Well, a quote that I always like to use is, I was young, and tell a little story about how I used to get on the bus and none of the kids wanted to sit with me. So much so I had dreaded getting on the bus. I would miss the bus because I didn't want to be teased. I didn't want to be bullied. I didn't have any self-worth as I was younger. So as I would go to the seat, everybody would jump up and nobody would want to sit with me. It would make me feel so sad to know that. And then as I moved on, I started using my gifts and then people would gravitate towards me. So as I thought about it, I said, you know what? Everybody can't sit with you. That's why you sat by yourself. And you also have to realize God made you extraordinary, and that's why you are not ordinary. So I was extraordinary, that people, that they didn't want to sit with me because they couldn't. So I was placed by myself at a young age so that I would know how to be able to handle things like that.
Wow. I'm almost speechless. That's so beautiful. I was smiling earlier because there was a little sadness in my heart, but I was smiling because I had the same experience growing up here in the US in a community that didn't have anybody who looked like me, and nobody wanted to sit with us, my siblings. And so my smirk was not at any way an amusement smirk. It was a smirk of understanding, of empathy. And it's so wonderful to have honest conversations. Even brings us back to our childhood when some of the insecurities began, and how we're all able to find a way to use that as an opportunity, a learning experience to show others that we can overcome that and we can move into a space of joy and happiness, and that life is worth living, right? Sometimes we just got to get a little bit of time. So as you talked about the quote that inspires you, now I would like for you to share with us, what does a better world look like through your eyes?
A world to where people are not judging others because of their appearances, but are judging others, or not really judging others, but the experiences that they're having with other people, looking on the inside and seeing the gifts on the inside instead of the maybe the unwrapped package on the outside. And I want people to be more loving, promote more kindness. You know, it takes nothing to say good morning or hello or you look nice to someone. And that goes a much longer way than putting somebody down and taking all that negative energy to use to demote somebody. It's better to promote someone.
Will you let our audience know how to connect with you, learn more about you, learn more about your group, please?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, and that is The Real Positive Queens. It's an open group, any woman can join. We don't discriminate. Also on Instagram at Veleda Spellman, and Twitter, Leda, Leda, Spell, Spell.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. And you're dialing in from the West Coast, so I know you have a long afternoon awaiting you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share your journey with us.
Yes, and I thank you so much humbly for this experience.
Wonderful. For those that are tuning in, thank you again for following us as we feature incredible change agents around the globe doing amazing things to shift our society in a very positive way. For those that are interested in nominating yourself, please think about that, as well as others in your community who are creating some positive ripple effects. Please visit nebula.soar, that's SOAR, communitynetwork.com, nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you, and we'll be talking to you very, very soon, everyone. Take care.